In this chapter, we see some of Nami's navigational genius on display, but then we also find out at the end a little bit about Foxy the Silver Fox.
One Piece, Chapter 308, Obstructive Tactics.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the tantalizing, action-packed, race-filled tale of One Piece. Our last chapter saw us, of course, with the donut race getting underway and seeing kind of a back and forth going amongst the cutie wagon and the barrel tiger, the two different boats, obviously, yeah, they're self-made crafts, whatever you want to call them, from the Foxy Pirates and, of course, the Straw Hats. And really, the chapter ended up with them about to go and enter the this kind of coral reef area, and then some kind of long whirlpool afterwards. So there's obviously going to be obstacles as well as just some of the other nonsense that's gone on in the fight. And I gotta say, honestly, I'm only a few chapters into this, but it's not a terribly long arc anyway. I think it's only about 15, 16 chapters, something along those lines. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I'm reading it, and it's fun so far. Is it a little bit goofy and a little bit out there and a little more on the comedic side? Sure. But guess what? Any type of long-running comic, manga, series of any kind, really a lot of times will have these sort of lighter, one-off sort of arcs or episodes or portions in it where it's really to kind of break up some of the heavy seriousness that you have in a major plot or major story development. And I can't think of a show or anything that doesn't do that sort of thing. I mean, you got some stuff that's kind of dark all the time, maybe like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. But even that has its moments. So nonetheless, though, like I said, I'm not here to argue whether it's good or bad or whether you like it or you don't like it, because that's your opinion, and I'm not here to try to change it. I'm just telling you my opinion so far is that it's fun, it's lighthearted, and there's nothing wrong with it that I can see. So this, they're obviously right in the midst of this race over here, and again, as they go and they approach these groves over here. First, we know that Foxy, riding on the giant guy Hamburger, or whatever, that giant gorilla, is going and kind of running along the shoreline and is going to try to interfere in some way, shape, or form. And really, that's what this chapter is about. It's about him trying to throw up roadblock after roadblock after roadblock and seeing the Straw Hats on how they handle it and how they come out of it. It immediately starts off where they wind up going into this, or very early on anyway, they go into this kind of coral reef type of area, and although the Straw Hats are actually behind them, Nami kind of senses there's something going on and says, listen, we got to slow down, the currents, the whirlpool, everything else. And what winds up happening is the Foxy Pirates wind up going in. I think it's Mondo and Porsche, and I forget what the other one's name is, but anyway, they wind up Capote, I think, and they wind up going in and coming back out. Going in, coming back out. And the announcer the whole time is great in this. The guy that they got flying overhead for the Foxy Pirates that's announcing, kind of emceeing the whole thing through it looks like he's talking to one of the snails, and broadcasting this all live. We also see that back on the shore that the Foxy Pirates, they're as underhanded as they are, they're trying to go and keep everybody else occupied, giving Chopper some sweets, giving Luffy some food, because Luffy's like, hey, is somebody interfering again? They're like, here, have this food, it's free, go ahead, And then they've got Sanji, there's a bunch of chicks like, oh boy, you should be our cook, that type of thing, right? All hitting on them. They found their weaknesses and they're attacking them is what they're doing, killing them with kindness and breaking down their barriers and walls. And Zoro's sitting there drinking with them. They're like, oh, don't worry, you're up in the next round, go ahead and get drunk, They're obviously trying to throw him off, as well as making sure that none of them realized what's going on and the interference that's happening. But anyway, what winds up happening, and Nami is we know that she's a navigational genius as far as things go, being able to feel things in the air, just kind of know where to go, where currents, maybe where water spouts may pop up, all different types of things. She's proven time and time again that she's valuable in that sense. And regardless of your love or hatred towards the character itself, at least this far into the story, they wouldn't have gotten to where they are without her. So same goes for this, is that she winds up kind of feeling it out and realizing that it's like a maze. There's a right way to get through there, and that the whirlpool on the other side, the long ring whirlpool, is causing these smaller ones to all kind of pop up within this coral area. So there's a certain way to go through it. So they wind up, as they go through it, we get this smoke bomb, interference thing that winds up coming from Foxy, and then they go and she's just like, that's not going to bother us. We can get right through it. We never needed to see the other side anyway. We just needed to kind of feel and know which one was the right current, right? So it had nothing to do with sight, So it's so funny because you go and you see the The whole thing, the recurring theme that I thought was comical was the MC going and being like, "Oh wow, she doesn't trust anybody. She's got a heart of stone." And she's like, "Shut up, I do too. I do like people." So then they wind up pulling out ahead, of course, and then one of the next things they go into is, he goes and he tries to, Foxy gets ahead of him and goes and tries to put a sign up that says "Go right," and she's like, "Oh yeah, right, go right." She knows it's a bullshit that they're supposed to go the other way or go straight, and he's just like, God, how did she see through that? And then again, you get the MC that's like, wow, she doesn't trust anybody, or is there anybody in this world that she trusts? And it's funny how they keep going back to that, and she's just like, I'm not cruel, I'm not heartless. So then he goes and Foxy really, to me, was the funny part of this whole chapter, because then there's one point where he pretends like he's a little old lady and like the gorilla's asking for help to save him. They just go right by, don't even slow down. The MC talks about it, and they don't even slow down. She does not have a heart, And then they actually goes and he puts up this fake goal. They're ahead of the Foxy pirates the whole time, the whole chapter, and he puts up this fake goal. And as they go through it, and she kind of just keeps going, and again the MC with something, and she's like, I'm kind of getting tired of you and your crap. But what winds up happening is Mondo and Porsche and whatever that other guy's name is that I always wind up forgetting, Capote, they wind up going, and one of them, the Fishman guy, goes and actually jumps in to help the other guy between his tail fin and the Fishman, and him being able to swim there. They gain some speed, and they actually start catching up to them. But ultimately, they're the ones that kind of inadvertently get caught up in that fake goal thing over there. Porsche's like, what's going on, And of course, it was their own boss that was trying to divert somebody else and wound up screwing his own people up, And then towards the end, she's going and she uses some kind of flower power, whatever, flower shurikens, and winds up firing these things at them, and actually causes them to get a hole in the boat and everything in the tiger barrel boat or whatever it is that Robin and Usopp and Nami are in. But again, like I said, just very funny and very lighthearted. And the chapter actually ends with them just about to approach the real goal, and then going and seeing Foxy saying that he also has devil fruit powers, and then all of a sudden he goes slow beam, and obviously it's going to be something that he has that can slow them down, or that's going to try to slow them down, allowing his people to overtake them. So all in all, though, a very fun chapter. And to tell you the truth, this race over here that's going on for the last couple of chapters has really just kind of been a fun, easy read. It hasn't been anything where I feel like I got to methodically break down and know the names of each character and everything else, and what's happening, what's going on. And it's really just been a fun, lighthearted adventure so far. So I'm certainly excited to read the next chapter and get into it. But my chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is really, I guess, what are your thoughts so far on that we know of anyway on Foxy? Foxy himself, we know obviously there was the revelation at the end, kind of he's obviously a devil fruit bearer. He has the power of a devil fruit. But aside from that, just what are your thoughts on Foxy so far? Because obviously he's the ringleader of these people. He's the one that's got them all. They're all doing these things because they're under his command. So you go to the top right away and see, who's at the top and why is he at the top. I think it's through deception and trickery and underhanded tactics. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next Fun Nation. I almost think this picture should be named Jugs of Joy when I look at it. But anyway, follow me over on my other channel as well as Facebook and Twitter.